Hello guys, and welcome back to this very special Kiev Cultural Changemaker special. I'm of course your host and founder of the Interpreting Wine podcast, Lawrence Francis. And while I'm based in London, travelling and uncovering great new places is really part of who I am. And one of my biggest discoveries of the last year has been the city of Kiev, capital of Ukraine. This series of 9 interviews was recorded in October 2018 and in March 2019, and I hope captures a sense of not only what's happening in the food and drink scene, touching as it does on wine and local cuisine, but also captures a sense of where the city is heading through design, music and cultural change. And I hope that if you or anybody you know is planning to visit to the city, you'll use this series as an audio guide, both to discover fantastic places to eat and drink, and also understand some of the wider cultural context. So here we go, today's episode of the Kiev Cultural Changemaker Special. Today's episode of the Kiev Cultural Changemaker Special features Andrei Pigulevsky of Skifian Oyster Farm close to Odessa and Balcon Seafood Restaurant in Kiev. We hear from him the origin story of the oyster farm. He talks about the Merroir in the region in which the oysters are grown. And he gives us a virtual tour of Balcon Seafood Restaurant. Enjoy.
My name is Andrei Pigulevsky. I'm the owner of unique oyster farm in Ukraine, in the Black Sea, on the Black Sea. And when you ask me about my history, about my past, so right now I'm sure that it was like a finger of a god, because nobody knows, also me, that I was going to do in this business, because I have a rather big IT company, it was pretty successful, and when idea of growing oysters in Ukraine came to me, everybody thought that I go nuts, really, because they said that look at yourself. So you're like from intelligence family, you're a musician, IT businessman. What is the purpose, and how you plan to switch to oysters, why oysters, and so on. And a story began with, to be honest, I was raw. I eat only raw food. For example, around 1.5 years. So you know what is it? So only vegetables, no animals. Only raw vegetables, fruits, nuts, greenies, and so on. And after 1.5 years, my organism started to ask for something more, because to be honest, there is not so a lot pleasure to eat, for example, 1 kilogram of carrot, at one time. So I was asking for new food experience. So, and once one of my friends just advised me to, so the oysters is raw, but it is animal, but maybe you can try it. You can try it. And so once I go to a seafood shop and buy like 3 oysters, it was very hard to open it for me the first time. Really, so I cut my hands, my fingers, but finally I opened it, like, because with the kitchen knife, because I don't know that you need a specific knife, to open the oyster. So finally I ate it, and I remember that moment. It was very good. It was very, very good, and my organism accepted very nice, because sometimes, of course, I have in my raw career, I have breaks because I try to eat some cheese, maybe some poultry, yes, sort of this, and every time after this I feel very bad. Very bad. It's like very strong intoxication. Sort of this. But after oysters, I feel very, very good. Very, very good. And after this, I started to research this new diet, and I found an Ukrainian theory about how to say. Species nutritious. It was our very famous scientist Vernadsky. It is famous. He's famous around the world. Very famous scientist, and he made a new theory. So. Every biological species, so it needs a specific nutrition, and he told that our nutrition, it is like monkeys, monkeys' nutrition. So they ate fruits, vegetables, raw, and sometimes they ate mollusks. Yeah, because when the tide goes out, they come to the seaside and find some shellfish, sort of this, and eat it. And for them, it's very delicacy. Yeah. So oysters are in this type of diet, and I started to implement oysters to my to my diet, to my nutrition, and it was, I think, the happiest time. The happiest time of my life. I eat a lot of fruits, and every day I ate around 3 or 4 oysters in the morning, like breakfast. So in maybe 6 months, oysters disappeared from Ukraine, because it was a crisis, and the price on oyster becomes very high because it was only imported oysters. So it was very hard to find oysters in Ukraine, and it hurted me very much, because I used to eat it every day. So I decided to make import of oysters, because I thought there is a lot of people like me that they need oysters and so on. And after this, I called to my friend in France. So please introduce me to some French farmers and so on. And I plan to go to France for 2 weeks, but stay in there for 6 months, really, with the little breaks. But I travel all around the oysters region, from Normandy in the north to Saint-Lecat in the Mediterranean Sea. Sorry. I learn how to grow it, and this inspired me so much. And then I returned to Ukraine. I started to research a possibility. Can I grow oysters here in the Black Sea? And I dig out a huge massive of literature that shows me that Black Sea and Ukrainian seaside, 1,000 years, it was a very oyster place, to be honest. And till the big revolution, Bolsheviks revolution in the Russian Empire, the Ukrainian seaside from Izmail to Sevastopol to Crimea, it was the biggest exporter of oysters in the world, not like a region leader in the world. 11, 13 million oysters were exported every year. So it was a really big industry, and to be honest, I was shocked. Yeah, because nobody knows about this, and I don't know what happens, with oysters, with this industry, because there is no oysters right now. In the Black Sea, there is a very few farms that trying to do something, but not for commercial base, not for commercial basics. So then I bought some spat. Spat, it's oyster seeds. And made some experiments. So I have 12 settlements of the seeds. I just choose some areas, some aquatory, to to understand what will happen. At least because I had no experience that time, so I was like totally zero in it. Into place, the results were so great, really, and in Crimea and in Nikolaev Oblast, it is in the south of Ukraine, in a big bay, big lagoon. It is the biggest sea lagoon in Ukraine, and it has a bigger salinity than in a common Black Sea. So it is like a small ocean, in the Black Sea. So then I tried to settle my farm in Crimea in 2013, but there is like a big disaster, from Russia in Crimea, and I refused to do something there, and I moved to Ukraine. Moved to Ukraine, and in 2014 I started to produce oysters, to grow oysters, and right now you can eat on your table the result of my work, the result of my business. So it is the second harvest. It is the second harvest that I had, and it is from specific Irish spat, from Irish seeds. So I was the time the only one, and right now I stay the only one oyster company here, and it was very interesting time because it was a lot of meeting. Everybody was very curious. What is Ukrainian oysters? It's very strange how it can be, and so on. And right now, to be honest, I'm very satisfied with those deals that we have made with my team, because when I started, almost all people that taste my oysters, they never tasted oysters. So we enlarge very quickly the market in Ukraine. And right now, as my French guys and my French friends said, that we are Ukrainian are the fourth country in Europe about the consumption of oysters. So the first is France, of course, then Italy, Spain, and the fourth place it is Ukraine. So, and to be honest, yesterday I read that International Bank said that Ukraine is the poorest country in Europe. I think so, really. But we consume a big amount of oysters. Really, it is not a cheap product. And my theory is that people that born here, that live here, they have a genes because thousands of years it was a common and very popular product here. Yeah, very cheap, and to be honest, numerous years it was like food for poor people, because you don't need to grow something. You just go to the sea, pick up what you need. You can eat it raw, or you can boil it or something like this, and that's all. That's all you need. So that's why I think oysters is very popular right now in Ukraine, and I think a big part of this job it is from my team. Come from my team.
I mean, really, fascinating story. I think it seems to be happening more and more now, where I hear people coming from one industry and really, for whatever reason, a personal motivation changing and going into something completely new. It's something that I've done, so I can certainly relate to that. To bring it back to wine, I guess, and make the connection back to the listeners who have got wine as maybe their primary focus. Before we started recording, you mentioned this idea of Merroir and just the idea that there are differences in the oysters depending on the location that they come from. So, I think a lot of listeners will be familiar with the idea of terroir, but I just invite you to describe your Merroir and what is that showing and what is that giving us on the plate.
Thank you for this question. It is really it is really interesting, and firstly, I need to mention that our receipts on the tongue, so they do actually the same with wine and, for example, for oysters. When a human taste the wine the first time, so he can feel only it is bitter, for example, or sweet, nothing else. So for the oysters, it is the same story. And right now, I can say that I'm an experienced guy. In tasting oysters. I taste oysters all over the world, from America, from Australia, from Guinea, in Africa. So it different tastes. So the oyster industry has this word Merroir. Oyster, the taste of oyster depends only on quality and chemical consistency of the water where they grow. So firstly, I need to say that the process of growing oysters dividing into parts. So the first part, it is just growing. Growing to for example, a certain size, number 3 or number 2, for example. Right now we tasted number 2, and then started a finishing of the taste. We call it affinage. I think the same in the wine, maybe. So we put oysters in a special estuary, for example, and in this estuary, in France, it is clairs. It's like rows that they dig on the seasides. And in this case, during affinage, it can be like 1 or 3 months. It forms the finishing, the end taste of the oyster. So I divide I divide tastes of oysters into three parts. So the first part, it minerals. So you can taste ferrum, for example, copper, in oysters. Then fruity parts, so you can taste lemon without the lemon, some apricots, some orange, sort of this. And then it is like a vegetable part. So almost every oyster, fresh oyster, it comes with a fresh cucumber, for example, and then there is nuances. You can taste some nut, nutty taste, even chocolate taste. So, and when I was in Chesapeake Bay, and I tasted those local oyster, it was totally like melon, like you eat melon with the salt. So that's why there is a lot of differences in the taste of oysters, and there is oyster tourism, that people can pay a lot of money to arrive to a unique place that oyster tastes like cashew with the watermelon. So I think it's very similar to wine, with the unique wine. So what is the main reason to differ the taste differences, the taste of oysters? The first, it is a mix of sea and fresh water. So, for example, French people, they are looking for places where river come to the sea or to the ocean, and the mix of fresh water and seawater makes the oyster more sweety. So salt comes out. And you can taste the real oyster, because when you taste oyster from the ocean, it is high grade salinity. You will feel only salt and some minerals, and that's all. After salt is gone, you can taste different nuances. And the second thing, it is the algae, because oysters eat algae. They filter the water with the small particles of algae, and the consistence of this algae, of types of this algae, bring a new taste to the oyster. So my oyster, if you taste it, it's very plain. It's very plain oyster with it is not so bright, but they have a sweet in the end. So that's why it is a popular oyster, because so many people can eat them without any
See, I love learning something new, and certainly about the farming, about the Merroir, really learning loads. But also, I'm just conscious that being as we are sat here in the restaurant, I want to let you talk and ask you to say something about the restaurant, and where does that fit into your business, into the farming. Why the restaurant, and what is it like? What can people find if they come here?
Thank you for this question about restaurants. So I think it is my last restaurant that I opened. It is the second one. To be honest, it is very complicated business, very complicated. So every day, so much operationals. You must control everything. I can relax about this. So I think this restaurant was created. like a promotion for the oysters, for the different seafood that I imported here, and it is how to say, not mainly for the business to earn money on this, So that's why we created this place. It is rather bright place, with the very, very democratic prices. So we are interested in developing of a seafood market here in Ukraine, because Ukrainians consume not a lot fish or seafood product. So as I know, the average rate in Europe, it is around 30 kilograms per year per person. So the Ukrainian rate is around 11 kilo, so 3 times less. That's why this restaurant is to promote healthy food. For example, we serve here lobsters. Half of a lobster, it is around 10 USD dollars. So I think it is the cheapest price, not in the world, but maybe in most area, most countries in the world. So we serve here shrimps. Very nice shrimps from Bangladesh, from protected area, oysters, some octopuses. So. We have a not so big cart of wine, but pretty cool. I think so. And the main reason is to invite new people to taste what is it about the seafood, really. Because it can be not so expensive, because mostly we have a seafood restaurant here in Kiev or in Ukraine. Very for simple Ukrainians, it's very expensive. So if you can go to any seafood restaurant here in Kiev, you must spend for 2 person maybe 100 euro at least. So it's minimum. So here you can spend 30 euro. Okay. And your stomach will be full. Like this with the same quality product. So it's for promotional place. And next week we made a unique supply of percebesh. So you know what is it? Very unique mollusk from Morocco. And the first time in Ukraine we will import the percebesh, and we will serve it with a very low price. To meet Ukrainians with different seafood delicatessen.
I say I really enjoyed learning something here today, and trying the oysters, and meeting you here. And I'd just really like to finish by leaving it fairly open and just inviting you to say something about the future. And what are you kind of excited about, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm really a future man. Because the future stimulates me to do something. I'm a big dreamer, and to be honest, my main goal, my main dream, I want to settle oysters farm on in every part of the world. In Africa, in America, in Australia, and in Japan, and join those farm under the one brand, global brand. No one do this right now, or did this, because the oysters business, it is more about local about local production, about family business, and so on. And the French guys made only the first steps, to extend, to enlarge their businesses to Africa, for example. But my dream is to settle the farm on every part, on every oyster pot in the world. But I think it is possible maybe in 15 or 12 or 20 years like this. But right now, for the next years, my plan is to enlarge my production. Because right now I produce by myself very small quantity of oysters. It is around 20 tons per year. So I think next year I will double. I will double the production, and in 5 years I need to fulfill the demands. On the Ukrainian market with 20 tons per year. So this is the goal for the next years. And of course, this year I open the farm for tourists. And so many foreign guys, French, Spanish, Italian guys came to farm. They are very excited about the place, about the taste of oysters, and I want to develop this direction of business, to invite so many people to the farm, because I have a really amazing place. It is a wild place, far from civilization, when you can relax, eat oysters, drink wine, go to the sea, swim, just clean your mind. So that's the plan. That's the plans for next years, and also the big plan for this year. For this year, in the end of this year, I will introduce a sea cucumber to my bay, from Japan Sea, and we will see if they will adapt. So if we will get lucky, so maybe we will start to grow sea cucumber in my bay. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Andrei, for your time. An absolute pleasure to hear the story behind the oyster farm and the great work that you're doing in Kiev to serve seafood to the locals at an affordable price. Do be sure to check out the main social media handles and website for both Skifian Oyster Farm and Balcon Seafood Restaurant below. And of course, while you're at it, be sure to head over to interpretingwine.com/listen for information on where you can listen to the podcast, and of course, do subscribe. Next time on the Kiev Cultural Changemaker special, in episode 311, I speak to former Ukrainian Sommelier of the Year and restaurateur Oleg Kravchenko. See you then.